Hello everyone and welcome to another card kit video. This is our May card kit. This is the coconut drink card kit. This is the die that comes in your kit and it makes the adorable kawaii. You don't have to put the face on if you don't want to. Coconut drink. It can also make it into a shaker if you wanted to. So you get the frame of the coconut, the base of the coconut, the flower, the top rim of the coconut, a straw, the kawaii face if you wanted it, the word coconuts, and then a mat for the word coconut as well. You'll also be getting your paper and your sentiments. And the sentiments that come this time are coconut about you, let's get cocoa nutty, and collatitude is everything. And you'll also be getting these cute tropical type shakers. It's got some leaves in two different colors, some flamingos, and some florals. And then the paper that comes in this kit, and you get 2 sheets of each paper, so there's 10 in total. You get this pretty tropical pinks and green, a wavy white and green, and then this one pinks, greens with the palm trees. And then you get coordinating solid hot pink paper, lime green paper, and brown paper, of course, to make your coconut. And they all coordinate, as you can see, very lovely together. And we will just get this kit put aside and we will start creating. I try to always do 2 cards in each video, one as a shaker and one as a non-shaker. So again, this is the die I'll be using to make our coconut little friend here. So, let me just put that to the side. I already kind of started prepping some parts of my kits that I wanted. I cut out the pieces in the papers that I'm planning to use. And again, I'm going to make one into a shaker and one not. So we're going to start with our non-shaker card. And I have here my wavy line paper as my bottom, and then I am going to just glue my printed tropical paper on top. And I just wanted to make sure that this paper got used and it wasn't hidden underneath, because I do think it's a very pretty paper with the tropical elements to it. And I'm just going to line it right up to the stitched lines on this card mat die. And just any old card mat die will work, or you just cut, your standard card mat base and then a mat to go on top of it. Okay, then we have our flowers, which I'm going to probably ink blend just so that they'll look to get some more dimension. We do have our straw here, and what I did is I already went and prepped my face. This is a solid piece of the die, and then I just took the face die, taped it on, and ran it through my machine. But what I also did is I ran it through with the pink as well, so that I can just do an inlay for my face pieces. What I've always done usually in the past, if you've watched any of our videos, I just flip it over, cut scraps of paper so that it'll show through. But I wanted to do it as an inlay this time to show you another way so you could do this. So I'm going to just zoom in here. Oops. Let's just zoom in there. And I'm just going to find where I want my coconut base to go. And I am just going to glue. This is obviously my non-shaker version. And I'm just going to put him down on my page. Oops. Okay. And then I can just put some glue in these areas. Grab a pair of tweezers or a pickup tool, and then I can just plop these pieces right in here. And this is die inlaying, so then everything is on the same layer and it's flat. My black pieces are still stuck in the die, so I'm just going to, I didn't want to pop them out before starting the video because I was like, I know I'll end up losing them if that was the case. And let's just see if I can pop. And I think I just lost one. Let me put it over here so then I can see it. And then with my glue, again, I'm just going to put a little bit in the areas. And this is usually the reason why I will do my little face pieces with it on the underside, is because some of these pieces are so small and it's not fun trying to find them. And also, you know, to make them look asymmetrical is a little bit hard too when you're trying to line everything up. And then I have his little straw here, and I'm just going to put that down because we're going to put at the top bit of our coconut like so. The straw doesn't really stand out as much as I had wished it would, so you know what, we might actually, let's stop for a second and ink blend our flour and the straw just so it hopefully will pop a little bit more. So let me just grab a brush and let's see what color I want to, oops, I guess we'll do it with some brown maybe. Let's see how that will end up looking. And I'm just gonna wipe it off a little bit because I don't want it to be, yeah, brown's not gonna cut it. Let's see if I have some, maybe a purple, a pretty purple or something, just to give it some dimension. If I have a dark enough purple, let me see. Maybe this one. Okay, I have two here we can try. I have eggplant and I have purple hydrangea. So, you know what, let's start with purple hydrangea. Where did that little piece go that I was, okay. So it's some purple hydrangea. Oh yeah, this is going to give it some nice added dimension. I mean, and if you have your distress inks and things of that nature, I mean, you could really just cut these out of white and really make these pop as really pretty flowers with the variation of different colors on your petals. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little on this one as well. And that's probably what I would do next time. I would, next time I make this kind of flower, I would probably just cut it out on white and distress ink it to get what I really want. And I just need to add just a little bit of color. I really don't know how much I want to add here. I just want it so that it'll stand out against the background of that paper a little bit. So let's see if it does. Yeah, it stands out a little bit more. Nothing crazy, but we just need it to stand out just a little. Let me get a wipe to get that ink off because I will end up transferring that onto my card because I am a very messy crafter. Okay, so now we have that done. Now I can go ahead and I'm going to just glue my straw down here. And you can make it at whatever part popping out that you want. I'm going to have it so it just hits the end of my card. And then I'm going to put my white part of my coconut right along the edge. It's not really white, it's more of a off-white ivory color that we give you in the kit. And then for my flowers, I'm just going to overlap like so. So I'm going to put, and you know what? I think I might actually bend them up just a little bit so that it's a little bit dimensional. And then I can put it right here. And then I'm going to do the same with my other flower. Just bend those little petals up just a little. And then turn it. And put it right in the center. I mean, you can lay it flat so you know that you're getting it nice and good, but knowing that you didn't glue the petals, then you can come back later and kind of uplift them. Not like that. You might want to make sure it's dry before you do that part. At least hold it down. That'll just give a little more texture to your card, like so. I think that's really cute. And then if you have enamel dots or stickles, you can go ahead and put the stem in the center of your flower if you wanted to do that as well. And then we have sentiments that we could use. You also have your word die and your mat. I cut those out because I didn't know what I wanted to use. Kind of like coconut about you. Let's get cocoa nutty, and collatitude is everything. So you can put whichever one you want. I'm going to put them off to the side so I can see what my other card's going to be, and then I can maybe decide on my sentiment. Now this is going to be our shaker. We are going to have to ink blend our flowers up again near the end, but in the meantime, we want to go ahead and get our shaker base. This is all cut out of chipboard. This is cut out of the brown, and you could also framed, you can frame the outside of this one if you wanted to as well, but I kind of like it the way it is. So what you're going to do here is just you're going to basically stack these to make your shaker wall. Now the shakers that come in this kit are actually pretty flat. There's no pearls or anything like that in it. They're just sequins and some clay pieces. So you're not going to need a whole bunch of layers like you would if you were doing a thicker shaker bit in there. But basically, you're just going to take your chipboard or whatever you end up making yours out of, whether it be foam or if you're just going to use foam tape. But I'm going to use chipboard, and I'm just going to quickly make it about 4 or 5 layers, I think, thick. And it will also depend on what thickness of chipboard you're using as well. I have another um, another brand of chipboard that I also use, but that it's thicker so it won't go through my die cutting machine. So this is, I believe this is a 2-point chipboard, and it cuts like butter in my Big Shot. My other one, I have to use a laser machine to cut through the thickness. But since this is a die, I have to use my smaller pieces. When we do kits that are like chipboard albums, I usually will provide it with the thicker chipboard. Okay, and I'm just making sure it's going to line up. And I have one more layer. And I'm just going to put that here. Oh, a little too thin there. Okay. And I didn't count, so honestly, now I don't know if I did 5 or 6. Might have been 6. But this is basically the frame. But now because I don't want the paper to show up, I want it to look like a coconut. I am gonna, when I cut out the frame piece here, I'm using the inside that I'm going to attach down on the bottom of this coconut. before we do that, we're going to glue our mat down to our card. And these card kits go together really, really fast. You can whip out a whole bunch of cards if you were having like a party or a theme going on for work or whatever you might be doing, or if you're a mom or a dad and you do crafts for your kids' school classes and they were having something. These come together really, really quick for you. Okay, I'm going to put this going the opposite way than I did on my other one. So I'm going to have him angling to the right. And I'm going to first just put down my solid brown. And then I'm going to layer my frame on top of that. But before I do that, I'm going to have to eyeball where my straw is going to go because I can't put my straw on top of my chipboard pieces. You could, but it's going to end up getting probably torn off at some point in time. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay my straw down now as well. And I'm just going to have it go again, flush it to my coconut. And then I can go ahead and put my frame, and it's just going to sit right around because that's the inside of this part, so it should line up perfectly even for you. I mean, there might always be a little bit of a gap. That's called the kerf, and that is just normal when you're cutting dies because that's the part that actually gets eaten up with the cut when you're cutting things. It's called the kerf. So there always might be just a tiny smidge of a gap of where that happens. Okay, so there is the base to my coconut. Now I can go and put in my lovely little shaker bits. And it's got some really cute little pink flamingos and some tropical leaves. And again, they're flatter because they're sequins, so I know my wall is going to be safe. But now it's just a matter of how much stuff you put in here that you want to make sure that it doesn't go past the top layer of your chipboard wall. Okay, and then I have my acetate piece here. Just clean that off a little, and now I'm going to go ahead, just glue this all around, making sure there's no gap in my glue so nothing will escape at a later time. And then I'm just going to line this up to the base. And I'm just going to use my fingers to make sure I'm lining it up correctly. And then I'm just going to push down on that part of the wall. Spread that glue around, make sure it's on there nice and tight. And then I'm going to take my frame and I'm just going to put my frame right on top of my shaker window. So this is just going to go right on here. And again, just using my fingers, making sure I have it all nice and aligned. And then I can take the top part of my coconut, which is just going to go on that top edge. Just lines up right on the edge there. And now let me get this flower inked up. Again, I'll just use it with the purple for now since that's what I have. Oh, this is the wrong purple. This is the darker one. Hold on. Here it is. Just tap some of that off there. And I'm just hitting up the edges of the petals. Just give it a cute little tropical vibe. Same on the other one. Okay. And let's just wipe up this ink again. And my fingers, because that is a very juicy ink pad. And then I can go ahead again and just pull up these. I'm going to put this one maybe down here a little bit, just to give it a little balance. And then maybe we'll put the word, let's see, do I have a white coconuts to put on here? I have this. Oh, put it with the green maybe. Pink with the green. I just like the pink background. You could even, put it there. You can use a sentiment. You can do, I think we have coconuts about you, so I can always trim that off and do coconuts about you, however you want with the sentiments that come with it. And I don't think I'd want it in white. I don't think it's going to pop as much now. So I'm going to keep it like that. So yeah, and since I know I'm going to put that over there, I'm going to go ahead and glue this part of my flower on this lower edge here. And while that's drying, before I put that next one on top, I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the base. And it's just going to give it a little bit of a matte behind it. Okay, now we'll let that dry. And then we'll come back to this flower, turn it up a little on the petals. When you turn it over, you should have like almost like a little square like that. That's where I'm putting the glue. So you could even do glue dots if you wanted to. And then I'm just gonna push that right there. When it dries, we can pull up our leaves a little bit more. Let's put this off to the side. Go back to what we're gonna do with this one. Let's see. Let's get coconutty. Let me zoom out here for you. Sorry about that. Let's get coconutty. Collatitude is everything. Coconut about you. If I did this, let's see, hold on. Did coconuts. So I should have just stamped the about you part, so then it would have worked a little bit better, because it's going to be too long to do it like if it was next to it. It's not going to fit on my card. You could even, let's see, so if we do, well, we're going to do coconut on this one. No, I like this with the white. Let me glue this in the meantime while I'm trying to figure out what I want to do sentiment-wise. And that's the part that I'm always like, what sentiment should I use? Because I usually don't give my cards away to begin with. I usually just, color with our stamps for lessons and teaching classes. And then, so I usually don't even put sentiments on my cards because they're more of a teaching thing. But we have coconuts. can even cut it out and just be coconut about you if you wanted to. Let's see. Let's get Cocoa Nutty. Maybe if we put this one. Yeah, I just don't. Oh, I could put it right on here and trim this. See if I have. Is this the piece? No, that was the other piece. If I do that, I can just trim that off. And then that can go there. What was the other saying again? Coconut about you. Let's get coconutty. I'm going to just glue this across the top here. Center it as best as I can. And then once that dries, I'll go in with, oh, I didn't put enough. There I did. Put it right there. Let's get Cocoa Nutty. And then I'll let this dry. And then I'll just go trim that end. And then I'll just put the coconuts. But I do like the Calatitude is everything saying too. Let's see. I don't know if I want to cover my little person's face because I think the face is just too cute. I just don't feel like it's balanced in a way that I enjoy it. So I'm not really happy with that. But see, that's a good fill-in of space for balance. Coconuts. Let's see if I can do, if I do coconuts and then I can tuck part over there. You. Let me cut off the coconut part. Oops. Let's see. I know I already glued it down. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a part that I can uplift. But let's see what we can do. If not, we have to fake it until you make it. And that's sometimes what you have to do. You have to end up cutting it so it looks like it's sitting under there. And that's what I should have done. Let's see, where did I put my tweezers? I know I just saw them. Oh, yeah, wherever they are not wanting to be found. I guess my tweezers don't want to go to work for us today. This is my little X-Acto knife. I just don't want to tear the paper. Ah, there we go. A little bit of an uplift. Let's see if we can tuck it under. Get it there. Need it to go a little higher though. Let's do it right here. Okay, so I'm going to do that. At least I got a little bit of a tuck up in there, so I'm happy about that. Coconut, about you, and then we'll trim off the edge. Let's get our coconuts part glued down here. And that might have been better if that was actually in the green because there's a lot of pink on the card. But if you like pink, then it's not that big of a deal. But I probably would have, if I had planned it a little better, maybe I would have done it in green. So I'm just going to trim off the excess on here and trim off the excess. This one's a little more hard, a little more difficult to trim off because I can't really flip it down all the way. Let's see if we can maneuver our scissors. This little piece there. Okay, we got that there. So those are our 2 cards from the Coconut Drink card kit. Okay, I just love their face. I think it's so cute. But here are the 2 cards. We have your standard, just a die cut, inlay die cut, Coconuts About You. And then you can always take a white gel pen, which of course now I probably won't be able to find my white gel pen. Oh, here it is. Let's see. You can always just, I like to add little dots with my gel pen just to give it a little bit more eye flow. And then you can even add some on your coconut guy or girl, like so. And you can even add some in the flowers if you wanted to, depending on what you ended up using as your inks as well. But it just gives a little fake highlight to everything, and probably something on our straw here too. I'd probably do. Just adds a little bit more whimsy. You can even highlight the cheeks or whatever you want there. And you can do the same thing on here. It's probably not going to show up on the green. Oh, and now I found my tweezers, which were sitting here the whole entire time. Of course they were. Story of a crafter's life, right? You can't find it, and it's literally right there. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below, which card do you like better? The die cut completely one or the shaker one? And what do you think about this card kit? And would you like to see more of these? We do have another one that we already have in-house for our June card kit. But I'd like to know if you'd still like to see these get carried on through the rest of the year so I can go ahead and start designing the second half of the year. So leave a comment below. I'd really appreciate it. And make sure to please like and subscribe to our channel. And I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.